It's fire effects and many water effects. We want to have those cameras out for some great photo opportunities, but keep a close eye on them so they don't get wet. And finally, for your safety and those around you, please do not use any selfie sticks while on board the tram. So we are now leaving the theme park behind and diving into the heart of the studio where some of Hollywood's biggest names come to work each and every day. This is an exciting time for us here at Universal as we're entering our second century of movie making. These posters on the left and right hand side are our Universal movie timeline, and they just represent a few of the almost 8,000 movies we've made. We started back in 1914 with our first film, Damien and Phineas, and we've been making movies ever since. On your right hand side is Fire Station 51. This is a real working fire station, folks. They are not paid actors. Here at Universal, we are our very own city. We have our own fire department, sheriff's department, zip code, dry cleaners, credit union, gas station, and at one point we even had our own DMV, but the lines weren't long enough, so they shut it down. We opened our doors to the public March 15, 1915, and back then it only cost 25 cents to get in. It even came with its very own box lunch. Wouldn't that be nice? 25 cents in the meal. Talk about inflation. The first part of our tour is going to be our sound stages. We have 28 here on the front lot. The first is Sound Stage 12 here on the left-hand side. Currently home to NBC's hit singing competition show, The Voice, with coaches Adam Levine, Blake Sheldon, Kelly Clarkson, and Jennifer Hudson, and it's hosted by Carson Daly.
Hi everybody, I'm Carson Daly from NBC's The Voice. I want to welcome you to the Universal front lot. Our show is filmed on stage 12. It happens to be the largest soundstage on the Universal lot. Take a look.
Not only is it the largest, but it's also been home to some pretty historic sets. Inside of Soundstage 12 was once built Frankenstein's lab, Dracula's castle, Scarface's mansion, and the visitor center to Steven Spielberg's blockbuster thriller Jurassic Park.
I used to work.
Even this outdoor scene from Couples Retreat was shot inside of Soundstage 12. The reason for that is some stages give filmmakers a greater degree of control over light, sound, and the natural environments. By shooting this outdoor scene inside the soundstage, they didn't have to worry about the noisy neighbors ruining any of their takes. And this is inside of Soundstage 12, and it's completely empty. On our left-hand side of sound stages 17 and 16 behind the trucks here. They're currently being used by NBC's hit comedy Superstore, starring America Ferrera and Ben Feldman. It's inside of those sound stages that they build a big block Superstore Cloud 9 in St. Louis, Missouri. Most productions just use one or two of our sound stages. It's a larger production if it uses 3 or 4, and Superstore is one of those productions. The third sound stage they use is on the left-hand side, 21. And this one is particularly special because it has a very large pit that can be filled up with a whole lot of water. And it's in that pit that Steven Spielberg tested the mechanical shark Bruce in the movie Jaws. Soundstage 21 is also home to Mission Control when in Apollo 13, and it was also where they built the Grinch's Lair in Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring Jim Carrey. NBC's television history goes back about 80 years, and it started with the transmission of the opening day ceremonies of the 1939 New York World's Fair, and that marked our very first television broadcast. Since then, we've gone on to produce some of TV's longest running and most popular shows like Different Strokes, One Day at a Time, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Heroes, Parenthood, even The Grease Don't Fly in the Kitchen, The Meat Don't Burn off the Grill. You guys know that one? It's the Jeffersons, folks. It's the Jeffersons. Here's some other examples of shows that were filmed right here on our front lot.
Martin.
Soundstage 44 here on the right-hand side is currently being used by The Good Place on NBC, starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. And if you look to the left, you're going to see Ted drinking. It's our first celebrity sighting, folks. Behind Ted is some of our production bungalows. They're being used by Illumination Entertainment. You know them for bringing the Despicable Me franchise to the big screen. They also are coming out with Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch later this year. Robert Zemeckis has offices over here, as well as the De Laurentiis Company. You know them for bringing the legend of Hannibal Lecter to the big and small screen. The producers from La La Land work here, as well as Jennifer Lopez. Take a look at the parking lot on the left-hand side. You'll see her name there. It's the second one from the right. She is the executive producer of NBC World of Dance. These production offices used to be bungalows or dressing rooms for some old-time celebrities such as Rock Hudson, Jimmy Stewart, Tony Curtis, and Doris Day. They were contract players for us here at Universal, which means they created content for our movie studio alone. On your left-hand side, Bungalow 5195 has a familiar silhouette. That's because it was once the office to the incomparable director Alfred Hitchcock. He's the man who worked on movies such as Rear Window, Vertigo, The Sting, and Psycho. And now on your left is some of our newest sound stages, 22 and 23. They're special because they have production offices in the front, and then the sound stages are in the back. These are dedicated to NBC's Will and Grace, starring Eric McCormick, Deborah Messing, Sean Hayes, and Megan Mullally. NBC World of Dance used these sound stages. America's Got Talent films here, but the very first production to use them was Hairspray Live. They began their performance inside of these sound stages, and then they cut to commercial and quickly ran out here to our back lot to continue the performance. And out here in our back lot is where we shoot the big stuff, exterior scenes on a grand scale. These buildings on your right-hand side are what we call facades. They're just the front and sides of buildings. We only need to create what the camera will see, and then your imagination fills in the rest. What looks like brick, stone, or concrete is just foam rubber and fiberglass that they shape and paint to look like the real thing. Now you're going to see our brownstone street. You might recognize it from an episode of The Mindy Project, or movies like The Blues Brothers Gone Girl, or maybe even Bruce Almighty.
Race the dog!
I'm in the shower!
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good. Oh, you're done now. Great. B-E-A-U.
You guys might recognize this portion of our back lot from the movie called Back to the Future, starring Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. That is the famous clock tower there on the left-hand side. And if it doesn't look familiar to you anymore, that might be because it became so recognizable as Hill Valley from Back to the Future that other productions had to change the exterior in order to fit their sets. Take a look at your screens to see producer Bob Gale to tell you guys a little bit more about the movie.
It was actually the back lot of the courthouse square that inspired the entire climax to Back to the Future.
I had scenes up there, the clock tower on that lead. It was lead about that wide. And I was standing inside, looking at the ledge, and I already had vertigo. I just thought, there's no way in the world, no way I'm going to stand on that. I was up there for quite a while. Of course, I had a cable.
But now it's time to leave the small town of Hill Valley behind and venture into the Big Apple. My co-host Jimmy Fallon knows a whole lot about New York because, after all, that's where he films The Tonight Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. That old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey! I'm walking here! Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
How I Met Your Mother has filmed on these streets. NCIS, Colony, even American Ninja Warrior. This is the very street that American Ninja Warrior films on. They set up the obstacle course right on the middle, put bleachers up on the side, and then they bus out audience members overnight to watch the contestants compete live. Now we're leaving the concrete jungle behind and venturing into the real jungle. Academy Award-winning director Peter Jackson is here to tell you guys a little bit more about what to expect next.
It's the original King Kong that saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 when I was old. I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up and your cognitive does that. I mean, you're on board and ship, you're standing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters, creatures from prehistoric times. delighted to be back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience. You're going to have your glasses with you. Don't put them on yet. Just put them in your hand. You can walk around the community to Skull Island.
Things do get a little bumpy here at Skull Island, so please remember to remain seated. If you have any valuables down by your feet, you might want to hold on to them tightly. And please don't flash photography while we're in Skull Island. We don't want to disturb any of the dinosaurs. Welcome to Skull Island.
Everybody, we're back in Skull Island. Give it up for King Kong 363D. That was the world's second largest 3D experience on screen. It stands at 40 feet high and 180 feet wide. It was made by Peter Jackson and the team over at What Digital. They won 6 Academy Awards. They worked on other movies such as Rise of the Planet of the Apes, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Avengers Infinity War, Wonder Woman, and The Hobbit.
Oh, thank you. I'm ready for Jaws. I just want to see
With studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. So they're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. There's King Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side. Looking on a movie, we always know that people are looking. They're looking straight. They're looking shocked. Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions. Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot that's trying to drive the Skull Island. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're using about 50 minutes of picture from inbound digital information that we
Sarah, let me have some water.
3D experiences work by using multiple projectors, in this case 16 projectors, projecting 2 different images onto the same screen, and then your 3D glasses allow you to see both images at the same time.
got the cup,
They
Mommy?
put so much detail into King Kong 363D that it even incorporated smells of the jungle. During a portion of that experience, you might have noticed that a section of the tram leaped onto the screen and became a part of the movie. Whenever you see a vehicle in a TV show or a movie, that is what we call in the movie business a picture car. And here on the left-hand side is some of the most famous picture cars in TV history.
I like the Flintstones. someone's car. Got enough time? How much left on my battery?
My favorite picture car is this picture tank here on the left-hand side from Transformers. It's so convincing, but it's just plywood and fiberglass that they paint to look like a
Sarah,
real
let me see
metal
your point.
tank.
I only got 18%.
We are now entering the sets to our Jurassic Park franchise. The first Jurassic World is one of the 6 movies that grossed $1 billion here, and it also has a pretty funny cameo from musician and restaurateur Jimmy Buffett. If you haven't seen it, don't worry, I got you. Just take a look at your screens. There goes Jimmy, saving those margaritas, folks. He has his priorities in order, if you ask me. And behind him is a Margaritaville. We have one of those here at City Walk, so once you're done enjoying the park, head on over for a refreshing beverage. I promise dinosaurs won't attack, but our cages here are looking a little bit empty, so you might want to keep your eyes peeled. You never know what's going to happen on the Universal backlot. Some of you guys might recognize the mobile lab on the left-hand side from the Lost World. It's not made out of metal, of course. It's just fiberglass and wood as well. Take a closer look, you can see pieces of the wood on the back of it here. Uh-oh, watch out, folks.
I avoided it!
Take a look at these trees here on the left-hand side. They're just another example of a Hollywood illusion. They're just made out of foam rubber, and if you look closely, you can see pieces of the foam rubber inside.
10 out of 10.
You guys might recognize this scene from The Lost World when the mobile lab is dangling precariously off the side of a cliff in a scene with Julianne Moore, Jeff Goldblum, and Vince Vaughn. In reality, this is not a cliff, of course. It's just one of our parking garages here at Universal. It's decorated by our greens department with both real and fake shrubbery, and then the special effects team put the finishing touches on it to really create that jungle-like atmosphere.
Down low.
Director Steven Spielberg used to take this tour all the time back when he was younger, only he used to do something you guys won't do, of course. He would jump off the tram and go explore this backlot all by himself, and that was one of the many ways he developed a few of the relationships that really ended up serving him in his career. He used to do it so often that everyone just thought he was a regular here at Universal, just one of the many employees. Welcome to Old Mexico, and you might recognize this portion of our back lot from Nacho Libre starring Jack Black. This has also been seen as Westworld on HBO, as well as a few episodes of Shameless on Showtime. The weather for TV and film plays a key component in setting the tone, but here in sunny California, we get the same boring sunshine day in and day out, so more often than not, when we need something a little bit different, we have to create it ourselves. We create rain from an overhead sprinkler system that shoots the water up, allowing it to fall down naturally. Lightning from overhead LED lights, and thunder overhead speakers. The raindrops in TV and film are bigger than the ones in real life so that they appear on camera better. Oh boy. That's weird. That doesn't normally happen. Cars 3 and 4, do me a favor. Keep a lookout on your left-hand side. If you see anything crazy, please scream for me so I can give our driver the thumbs up that we need to get out of here. Let's practice that scream on the count of 3. Oh, I didn't say 3 yet. What's going on? Oh, whoa. Looks like we have a flash flood.
Yep, right on that side.
Now this is being created by thousands of gallons of recycled water. It's going underneath the bridge, back up the hill, and ready to surprise the next tram. You can see that flash flood being used in a music video for artist Lady Gaga for her song Judas. She stood right over there and repeatedly got smashed by that flash flood. It was also used in a movie called Big Fat Liar starring Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and Amanda Bynes.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that. I got 20 bucks!
We are now leaving Old Mexico behind and moseying off through 6 Points, Texas. We give it that name because it has 6 converging streets, and back in the silent film era, we were able to film 6 different westerns all at the same time, which allowed us to pump out 200 films in 1 year alone. Now they weren't full feature length like they are today, an hour and a half, 2 hours long. A lot of them are just 8 to 30 minutes long, but still very impressive for the time. Sandy Mr. Banks has filmed in this area of our backlot, as well as The Color Purple, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg. Now, if the Western stars ever seem larger than life to you, that might be because of the way that they build the sets. Oftentimes, they would make the doorways smaller for the male characters so that they seemed, big and brawny, and they would make the doorways bigger for the lady characters so that they seemed more small and dainty. For the popular Western chain, they even went as far as to dig a trench, and when the lead male and female character were walking, the lady character would walk in the trench so that she would seem shorter, even though they were the exact same height. As we turn the corner here, you're going to see Park Lake on the left-hand side. This was used in the Blues Brothers when they drive their car in the water. And at one point, Park Lake was the location of Gilligan's Island. We are now approximately at the halfway mark in our tour, so I just want to remind everybody to please remain seated. The studio is private property, so if at any time you drop something off the tram, have a medical emergency, or just can't wait to use the restroom, go ahead and pull that red cord, and I'll be back there to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, please remain seated at all times. On the left-hand side, you're going to get a little glimpse of Little Europe. Little Europe can be any European city we need it to be, just by changing a few of the set decorations and the languages on the sides. It's also where we practically invented the monster movies like The Wolfman, Dracula, The Invisible Man, Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, all filmed over there in Little Europe. Our monster movies is what ended up saving us from the Great Depression.
He's in the woods. Get out the mud house. Raise all the men you can, lock them in indoors, and wait for me. Are you ready? Take your torches and go!
Little Europe is also where we filmed The Good Place on NBC.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this.
You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Little Europe was also the fictional country of Genovia in The Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement, and it was also a land far, far away in Roger Hammerstein's Cinderella, starring Brandy, Whoopi Goldberg, and Whitney Houston. I got to talk about sound stages. Now we get to go inside of one. This is Soundstage 50, and you might recognize it from an episode of Bones on Fox. Very upset.
When I talked to him, he said the guy died in his arms.
You guys with the FBI?
Yeah, hear about the human remains.
That's him. Right over there.
You alright?
Sarah, you might want to run away for this part.
That's weird. I'm sure it's just one of our light California
Well,
trippers.
just
It
keep
happens
your
from time to
phone close to
time.
you, okay?
Just please do remember to remain seated. Oh boy, I do not do well in earthquakes. You know, whenever I'm feeling a little bit nervous, I just sing this song to myself. Maybe it'll help out some of you guys today.
Back here, Sarah.
Go to your happy place, Bridget. Go to your happy place. Okay, that should be the last of it. Yeah, I think we're good now. Ooh. Looks like that flash flood followed us here, folks.
If I could have filmed your face,
Now that was
Sarah.
earthquake the big one, and if it was a real earthquake, it would have registered at 8.3 on the Richter scale. You can see that special effects stage being used at Beverly Hills Cop 3 starring Eddie Murphy, as well as another episode of Bones.
Hello, Bones. Sarah, you were so scared. Why you didn't film your face?
No, they already got the scene of me.
Huh?
They can look at the thing, but it's not my thing.
This scene is a great example of why filmmakers love to come to Universal, because it would be both dangerous and expensive to go to a real subway station and go crashing the cars and flooding the station, but it's a lot easier and safer to do in Soundstage 50 where you can control the environment. Well, that sure was exhausting, so let's just head on over to Amity Island. It's that town that was getting terrorized by Bruce the Shark and Jaws, but don't worry, they have since caught the shark. Police divers are in the water now doing one last sweep before reopening. Are you guys pointing to something? What's going on? Oh my goodness. Oh, there's a shark in the water. That can't be safe for the diver. Oh God, that's my friend Keisha. Yo, Keisha! Keisha, girl! Y'all help me out, she can't hear me. Keisha!
Keisha!